So the big question is this: how do you lose all the weight that you want and actually keep it off for the rest of your life, while trying to make sense of all the noise that comes from the weight loss industry? That is the question. And this podcast will give you the answers.
G'day guys, and welcome to the next episode of the Weight Loss Secrets podcast. My name's Baron Grant and I'm rapt to have you with me for another episode where we talk all things weight loss and everything related to it that could possibly touch it or help you to lose weight. So I'm going to go through another tip or trick, I guess, today. And we're going to talk about something that I'm quite passionate about. It seems as though I'm quite passionate about lots of things. But before we do, remember that these episodes are brought to you by Ditching the Diet, where you can go and find everything you need to be able to help you on your weight loss journey. So ditchingthediet.com, head there, and I can help you as well personally if you want me to. Today's podcast is really focused on weight loss surgery. So here we go again. I've already spoken about lap band or gastric band surgery. Today I'm going to speak about its, I guess, bigger brother, which is gastric sleeve surgery. Now, what is gastric sleeve surgery? It's a surgery to help you lose weight, effectively, is what it is. Now, I need to call out straight away, I'm not a fan, and I'll probably get more animated as we go throughout this podcast. And as I go through how it's actually done, you might feel a similar way. So let's talk first off, what is gastric sleeve as opposed to gastric band or lap band? Lap band or gastric band is a band that goes around your stomach to restrict the size of your stomach a little bit, but it's not permanent. So it just makes your stomach smaller so that the message gets sent to your brain to say you're full. That's effectively how lap band works. Gastric band has the similar result, but it does it more permanently and doesn't use a band. It actually, the process is to remove a significant amount of your stomach. So your stomach is like a little pouch, right? And what will happen is when they do gastric sleeve surgery, the doctor will go in, making a series of incisions in your stomach to be able to go in, small incisions, and to be able to go in and remove maybe around about 80% of your current stomach, making your stomach significantly smaller permanently. And that's a really important message to share. It is a permanent change that you're about to make to your stomach. Your body was never meant to be designed to be cut open unnecessarily, in my eyes. So they go in, and what they do is they use a special staple gun, which effectively staples off part of your stomach. So it seals it as they go, and you end up having a tube almost, I guess, or a very reduced size pouch rather than the full size pouch of your stomach that you had previously. And what that does effectively is allow you to only have 10 to 20% of your volume allowed into your stomach before it's sending messages to your brain to say that you're full. That's the theory. Now, I'm going to talk about lots of things on this podcast, but I want to say right at the start that just because you remove that portion of your stomach is not going to mean that you're going to keep the weight off, because you can still eat whatever food you want. And it's the choices in food that makes us gain the weight or lose the weight. So yes, with a restricted stomach, you can't eat as much volume as what you did before. It doesn't change the type of food you can eat. That's the crazy part of this whole twilight zone I feel like we're in when we're talking about weight loss surgery. And so anyway, so that a big portion of your stomach is chopped away, never to be returned. And so then you fill up much quicker. Now, to have this done, it's not cheap. In Melbourne, where I reside, you're looking at a minimum of about $18,000 to do this surgery. But remember, you can get rid of your life savings in your super and you can pay for it with your super. Sorry to be cynical, but $18,000 is a lot of money to have someone cut your gut open. And that's what's happening, right? So they go in and they cut it open. There's an enormous recovery process afterwards. They've gone in, they're playing with stuff inside your body. It's never a good experience, never a good thing to have surgery. So it's a big cost to have that done as well. Now, I want to talk about the risks. And when I talk about risks with weight loss surgery, I'm going to put it in brackets, why it is so dumb, right? And here's some of the risks that are associated with this surgery. And I'm going to, for those that are watching me on YouTube, I'm going to read it off the screen because there's too many to actually remember in my head. So risks associated with it are this. excessive bleeding, infection, adverse reactions to the anesthetic, blood clots, lung or breathing problems, leaks from the cut edge of the stomach. Then long-term risks, so they're just the regular risks, but long-term risks are gastrointestinal obstruction, hernias, gastroesophageal reflux, low blood sugar, malnutrition, vomiting, and very rarely, but complications of the gastric sleeve can be fatal. So obviously when someone's poking around and moving things around and cutting things out of your stomach and other areas in your body, clearly that there's significant risks associated with that. So if you're considering weight loss surgery, whether it be lap band or gastric sleeve, there's another one that we'll talk about at another time as well. But whether you're considering these things, what are the other alternatives that maybe you've considered as well? Because I promise you there are other alternatives. And the great thing about these other alternatives is that they don't produce any of those side effects that I just mentioned. In fact, the side effects that healthy eating and movement do are feeling better, feeling healthier, moving easier, increased energy in your body, as well as all the weight loss that's associated with it. Here's the thing from a long-term perspective for a gastric sleeve. Your stomach can still stretch. So even though you've gone through the idea of I'm going to cut, a significant portion of my stomach off, it's not just that. You think then that, I'm only ever going to be able to eat small amounts. That may be the case, but it may not be, because as you start to eat again, your stomach will stretch and it will get bigger. And you can still eat all the chocolate that you want. You go and scoff down a whole bunch of chocolate and you are going to put weight back on. I can't emphasize that enough. Yes, because of the huge thing that's just happened in your body over the first 12 months or so, you're going to lose probably a large amount of weight. Yippee, how good. But when that comes back on, that's going to be heartbreaking. And if you don't change your eating completely, and when I mean completely, I mean everything about where you're at. Let's say you were getting a gastric sleeve surgery and you were 125 kilos, 130 kilos. Your eating habits are not healthy. So if you continue to eat in any way, the same way that you ate before, all of that weight plus some is going to come back on. Plus some. That's going to happen unless you make massive changes to your weight. So my view on it is this. Why do the surgery when you can just make massive changes in your weight, and every bit of the weight you would have lost on the surgery, you would have lost. And if you do it right, you'll actually lose it in the same amount of time or even faster. This is the crazy thing about this whole weight loss surgery movement and idea, is that somehow you're going to lose faster. It's not even true. If you eat the right way, you're going to lose just as fast as what you will having weight loss surgery, and you haven't had to cut your guts open or spend $18,000 or have all sorts of other long-term issues with your body because of it. So here's my thinking. And if you're listening to this podcast, clearly you are interested in doing it the right way. And if you've got to this episode, you've listened to probably a bunch of them before you got to this one. So you're clearly looking to do it the right way as opposed to the wrong way. Weight loss surgery is a terrible thing for your body. And people will come at me and say, hey, but Baron, I had weight loss surgery and it's the greatest thing I ever did. Well, good for you. And that's fantastic. But you may have long-term issues with that later on. And you may not. And I hope you don't. But the problem is it happens to way too many people. And I sit on the back end of a lot of people when they've gone through weight loss surgery and they put all the weight back on because they haven't changed their eating habits, and they come to me more broken than they were in the first place. So for me, I am totally opposed to it because I see the back end of it. At the front end, someone's going to sell a program really hard because it makes them a lot of money. Weight loss surgery is an insane money maker. It's an insane money maker. And so if I'm trying to tell you how good weight loss surgery is, because every time you come into my clinic, I'm going to get $18,000 from you doing weight loss surgery with me, and I can do 3 or 4 of those on a day, heck yeah, I'm going to sell it hard. And that's what's happening in this industry. It's a big fat money maker. Oh, pardon the pun. It's a big money maker. And so therefore it's recommended all the time. Frankly, it should never be recommended because you can always do it by food, because food got us there in the first place. That's my message for today. I can be a little bit like a dog with a bone with it because I see the damage that it does later on. And the advice that's given about food is never there. It's always, hey, good luck, off you go. We just chopped your guts out and off you go, good luck with it. No real advice or support given from a food perspective, which is what actually needs to be changed in the first place. So if you're considering it, my recommendation is run for the hills. By the way, running for the hills is a good idea because then you'll probably lose a bit of weight on the journey as well. Don't do it. It's not something that you need. You can lose all the weight you want without it. So eat clean and move and you'll win. That's my message for today. Can't wait to chat with you tomorrow. Stay away from the knife. You don't need it. We'll talk soon.